Welcome back to the lesson, and today's topic is reading scales. In this lesson, we will do some question from exercise 4.3, and the question number 1 is write down the values shown in each of these scales. So, here's the first part, part A. You can see the scale on your screens. First of all, you have to see the given values. First value is 48 and the second value is 49. And after that, you have to find the difference between these two values. When you will subtract 48 from 49, you will get 1. So you can say the difference between 49 and 48 is 1. Now the next step is you have to find the total intervals. How many total intervals are in between 48 and 49 centimeter? So the question is, what is interval? Interval is basically distance between from one point to other point is called the interval. So I mark the arrow from this point to this point. This is the interval 1, interval 2, interval 3, interval 4, interval 5, interval 6, interval 7, interval 8, interval 9 and interval 10. So we can say the total intervals are 10 here. Now next step is, after finding the intervals, you have to divide the total intervals from the difference value. So our difference was 1 between 48 and 49 was 1. So we have to divide 1 with 10 equal parts. So each interval's value will be 0.1 or 0.1, you can say. So you will mark the 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 in all the 10 intervals. So after writing the values on intervals, you have to see where is your arrow or where arrow is given. So the arrow is here. So before that, you have to see how many intervals are there before arrow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 intervals are before arrow. So each interval's value were 0.1. So you have to add the previous intervals. So 0.1 will add it at 3 times. So that will be 0.8. So you have to add the 0.8 with 48. That will be 48.8 centimeter. So in this way you can read your scale and you can write the value of given arrow. Now part B. Part B is in the same way you have to solve the part B. So your arrow is in between 80 and 70 millimeter. So for 80 and 70 millimeter, you have to find the difference first. You have to subtract 70 from 80 first. So the difference will be 10 here. After finding the difference, in the same way, you have to find the intervals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 intervals are here. As 5 intervals and the difference is 10, so you will divide 5 with 10 and you will get 2. So 2, each interval have value 2. As we has done previous part A, so you will assign 2 value, like 2 you will write here, 2 you will write here, 2 and 2 and 2. So each interval's value is 2 here. Now after writing the value on intervals, you have to see where is your arrow. So after checking the arrow, you have to see how many intervals are before arrow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 intervals are before arrow. So the value is 70, started value is 70. So 70 plus 8, because each interval's value is 2. So 70 plus 8. So this arrow's value will be 78 millimeter. Now, part C, all the parts will be done in the same way, but as all the part having the different measurement units, so we will solve it in this video. Again, starting value and ending value is 4 and 5, because arrow is in between 4 and 5. So you will find the difference first. 4 minus 5, answer will be 1 here. So in the same way you will count the intervals 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 are total intervals. After finding the intervals, you will divide the intervals with a difference value. So difference value was 1 and interval was 4. So you will divide 1 with 4. So each interval's value will be 0.25. In the same way, you will find how many intervals are before arrow. So just 2 intervals are before arrow. So 0.25 plus 2.25 would be what? 0.5. So arrows here, you will see this is the 4 and you have to add 0.25 and 0.25 with 4. So 4 plus 0.5, that will be 4.5. So arrow's value will be 4.5 meter. Why we are writing meter here? Because they has given meter unit here. Now the turn is of part D. Part D, they has given us in milliliter. So for this purpose, you have to see where our arrow or our value is located. So our arrow or the liquid is in between 100 and 20. So for this purpose, you have to find the difference between 100 and 200. That will be 100 here. Count the intervals. Intervals are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So intervals are 5 here. What was the difference value? 100. And you have to divide 100 with 5. And each interval's value will be 25 here. So each interval's value was 5 here, 25 here. And you have to add 25 in 100 because the starting value is 100 and your arrow or liquid is in between 100 and 200. So 100 and add the one interval's value in it, that will be 125 milliliter. Now the turn of part E. Part A is of kg. The same way you have to find the difference. First of all, you have to see where is your arrow. So your arrow is in between 10 and 20. You have to find the difference from difference between 10 and 20. That will be 10. And you have to count the intervals. Intervals are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So divide 10 with 5 and you will get 2. So each interval's value will be 2 here. As your arrow is in between 10 and 20, so you will start from 10 from this side and add 2 in 10. So this adding 2 in 10, that 12, 14 and 16. As your arrow is here, so your arrow's value will be 16 kg and you will write 16 kg here. Now the last part of this question is F part, and that is given in liters. Again you have to see in which value your liquid or water is, that is in between 1. The part F, you will see your liquid or your water is in between 1 and 2. So for this you have to find the difference between 1 and 2, that will be 1. You have to find the total intervals. Total intervals are 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now you have to divide difference value like 1 with 4. So each interval's value will be 0.25. So you have to add 0.25 with 1. So for 3 times. So 1.25 will be 1.25. Now 1.25 add with 0.25 again, that will be 1.5. And now in 1.5 you have to add 0.25 again. So the value will be 1.75 liters. Why we write liters here? Because they has given the water or liquid into liter. So this is how we can find the arrows value, or how we can read the given scales.